In today's video, we will be taking a look at the 2024 presidential election between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, but this time we'll be taking a look at 5 prediction models: the Cook Political Report, the Sabatos Crystal Ball, the Inside Elections, and also the race to the White House. We'll finally be taking a look at my own prediction as the 5th one. Now let's start off with the Cook Political Report. This is their prediction. Now to visualize it, it will be this. As you can see, this is their map. Now, there's a couple of interesting points. First off, again, there are toss-up races according to these models, but a race that I do find pretty interesting, the state of Nevada, is considered a state that will go for the Democratic Party by a lean margin. Now, some of these models aren't so bold, so that does indicate that they believe that Nevada will end up going blue pretty easily. I also find it interesting that Nebraska's 2nd District is likely. Again, these models though do tend to not be super bold, and they do have Nebraska as a likely district right over here, which does suggest that they believe Nebraska's 2nd District will be pretty solidly in the blue column. We also see that Michigan is in the lead blue column. This one I don't really dispute. I do believe that the state of Michigan will go to the Democratic Party. Now, on the Republican side, we do see that Texas and Florida are in the likely Republican column. Not super surprising, as well as that they don't believe North Carolina would have a good chance of flipping, as they do put it in the lean Republican column. What's also interesting is that they do put the states of Iowa and Ohio in the safe Republican column, Virginia, Colorado, and New Mexico in the safe Democratic column. So that is the prediction from Cook Political Report. The next one we'll be taking a look at is the Sabatos Crystal Ball. Now they do have something that's pretty similar, but nonetheless we can see a couple of differences. First off, they have Nevada as a toss-up. This one I can more or less agree with. I don't think Nevada is a state that's leaning too much towards either direction, but they do have Pennsylvania as a state that does end up being narrowly in favor of the Democratic Party. Now this one, again, these models don't typically aren't very bold, so that means they do believe that the state of Pennsylvania will end up going blue by quite a decent margin. Now they also have Maine 2nd District as tilt for the lean for the Republican Party. I don't necessarily think that they will win it by just a couple points. I think probably more, but it's interesting to me as well. They also have New Hampshire in this scenario as a lean blue state, as opposed to a likely blue state according to the Cook Political Report. So that is for Sabatos Crystal Ball. The next is the race to the White House. Now they don't have an official prediction, but this is their polling arranged map. Essentially, this is what they would put the races at after they adjust the polling. As you can see, the safe states for both sides are states that polling suggests both sides will win by 5% or more, while the lean states are those that polling suggests will go to one side by less than 5 points. Now this is pretty interesting. After they adjust the polling, they find that Wisconsin does go to Joe Biden by 7.2 points, while the state of Michigan goes to Biden by just 1.7 points. So this isn't really their prediction, but I think this is interesting as the polls really aren't super accurate. We can see that, again, a state like Wisconsin, the reddest of the 3 states, are actually going to the Democrats by the least of all the margins. While a state that is probably one of the bluest states of the 3 states end up going to Biden by less than 2 according to the polling in the state. I do find that pretty interesting. Overall speaking, this just reflects the 2020 presidential election with the exceptions of some margins. The final model I'm going to be taking a look at that is before my own model is the one from Inside Split Ticket Voting. So inside elections, they actually don't have a substantial model. Now split ticket, we can see that right now they do give Democrats 247 electoral votes to the Republicans 219. Now this model, again, it's a more conservative one. It's not gonna, give states that they might believe are slightly leaning towards either direction. They pretty much just give you a general picture. But they do have Nevada as a lean blue state, which is pretty interesting because, again, some of the previous models had Pennsylvania as a lean blue state, while some had Nevada as a lean blue state, but typically not both. So in this model, they do believe Democrats will win the state of Nevada, and the state of Michigan, but they aren't very sure about the state of Pennsylvania. They also aren't very sure about North Carolina, because if we look at the previous model, we have the North Carolina as a lean red state, and from Sabatos crystal ball as well, lean red in the state of North Carolina. So it's interesting that they actually have this race as a toss-up as of right now. Now things can definitely change, but that's their current prediction. Otherwise, this looks still pretty similar to the other ones, but one thing is pretty interesting. The state of Iowa is considered safe red, while Nebraska's 1st congressional district is considered lightly red. So they do believe that Iowa will be less competitive than Nebraska's 1st district, which I do find pretty interesting. Now finally, my own model. This I can give more justification for. As you can see, I have every state filled in. Now, Nevada is typically characterized as toss-up or lean Democratic, but I actually think it's going to go for Republicans due to trends in the Las Vegas region. For the state of Arizona, I do believe it's going to go blue because of blue trends in some of the Phoenix and Pima County regions. For the state of Georgia, I think this will be very close, but I think Democrats will actually narrowly lose the state because of, although trends do end up favoring the Democratic Party, it just seems like that black turnout may be slightly lower in the Atlanta region. The state of North Carolina, because Trump did win the state in 2020, I don't think Republicans are going to end up losing the state in 2024. While for the Rust Belt 3, they typically vote together. Michigan's quite solidly in the Democratic column. Pennsylvania is also generally considered to be leaning towards the Democratic Party. The state of Wisconsin, though it's trending red, I do believe will vote along with the 2 other states. The state of Nebraska 2nd, this will be a lean blue district, as characterized by several of the other models, and New Hampshire as well went for Biden by 7, probably not going to go for the Republican Party. So that is the prediction on 5 models. My own model, the Cook Political Report, Sabatos Crystal Ball, the race to the White House, so it's not actually their actual final prediction model, and also Split Ticket. Comment down which model you think is the best, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.